Welcome back to KMM Tech. Today we're going to start a new series about smart home. Smart home is something that I've been doing for probably about 5 years now. It all started with a few light bulbs, and it has blossomed into this massive system. I guess not massive, but it is a rather large system that just basically runs, and it's been really great. I've gone through several different smart home hubs, so I can kind of guide you guys if you guys have questions about certain ones. I can tell you where I ended up, where I started. So the first question is what is a smart home? And it's a question that I think a lot of people misunderstand. So for me, there are two different kinds of homes. Well, I guess three different kinds of homes. There's just a regular old house with just normal electronics in it. Then there's a connected home, and then there is a smart home. So the difference between a smart home and a connected home for me is a connected home is basically you have some devices that you can control with your cell phone or your iPad or a tablet here or there. That to me is a connected home. A smart home is a little bit different. A smart home is more dynamic, so it reacts to things that you do. Things like, for example, I have a door out in my backyard. Open the sliding glass door. If it's after sunset, a light turns on automatically. When I close the door, the light goes off. To me, that's a smart home. Something happens dynamically based on an input that I give it. And in my cases, I try to make it so that the input is a fairly normal input. So things like opening a door, walking into a room, those sorts of things will trigger events. So in order to have all of this set up, you need to have something that controls this. First of all, something that will know what devices you have. And the other thing that it does is it connects to those devices, and you can make rules to tell that device when to turn these devices on and off. So you need something called a hub. I've got one here just so you can take a look at it. This is a first generation SmartThings smart hub. Okay. It's just a little box. On the back of the box, you'll see that there are two USB ports, a power area, and a power plug, and an Ethernet cable. Inside of here, there are radio transmitters and receivers to transmit data back and forth between these smart devices. And I have a small one. If I can open up the package here. Haven't even used this one. This is a Z-Wave receiver. So this is actually built into the SmartThings device. I have an external one because I'm looking to test some other variations of Smart Hub. So inside of here we have a Z-Wave radio and a Zigbee radio. Those are the two most common types of frequencies that you can use to connect smart home devices and smart devices. So what are smart devices and what do they look like? Well, here are two of them. These are smart light bulbs. Okay, they look like your ordinary light bulb for the most part. This one's a little bit different. Okay, so this is a Cree connected bulb. This is just your standard LED bulb, except it has a Zigbee receiver and transmitter in it. So what it's able to do is then talk to the SmartThings hub. The SmartThings hub can send information to it, and it will then send information back. This is a Philips Hue bulb. This is the same concept. It's Zigbee as well, but this is a little bit different because this bulb actually changes color. So you can actually have millions of colors, blues and greens and yellows and oranges and purples and whatever color you can imagine, you can create with this bulb. This Cree Connected only does, happens to be, I think this is the cool white version. It might be a soft white, I don't remember. But it's just on, off, dim, that's it. So they are a lot more expensive than your regular bulbs. The Cree Connected bulbs are about $15 a bulb, but they will last basically forever. They've got something like a 25-year life on them. And the same with the Philips Hue. It's got the same length, same duration, because they're LED, so they last a lot longer. They use a lot less energy. But the Philips Hue bulbs are actually $60 a bulb for the colored bulbs. Very expensive. I don't have a lot of those, and I'm actually transitioning out of the Cree connected bulbs. But that's for another story, another video. This is a hub that I don't use anymore. I'm actually using a different hub. There are three, as far as I'm concerned, well, I guess four main varieties of hub that are out there, 4 different brands. There's Wink, which is actually where I started. The Wink hub is a very good hub. It was a little bit too basic for the needs that I wanted, so I later upgraded to the SmartThings hub, which is what this is. This is my second hub that I used. I used that for a little while, and then I moved over to a new hub called Hubitat. The biggest difference between those 3 different varieties of hub, the Hubitat is the only one that actually works locally, which means it doesn't need the internet to actually function. The SmartThings hub and the Wink hub all require the internet. What happens is when you send a request to a light bulb, what happens is it goes out to the internet, it talks to the Wink or SmartThings servers, comes back down, and then actually controls your devices that way. So it's a little bit longer of a process, so the lights don't go on and off the way you would expect them to. Hubitat, because it's all local, it does not require an internet connection. So if your internet connection goes down, it doesn't matter. It'll still work. It's also a lot faster because it doesn't rely on that transmitting of data back and forth between cloud servers. So it's also a little bit more secure because there is no internet connection. You could argue that with your SmartThings hub that is always connected to the internet, especially if you have a rule that says something like, when my phone leaves the house, you could say that the SmartThings people can tell whether you're home or not. And because it's based off of IP, they'll actually have your address as well. So things like that make people wonder about whether smart home is right for them. So I will tell you that I used these for many years with no issue. I did move over to the Hubitat mostly because of the cloud issues with speed. Not so much the security issue, but there is no uplink to any Hubitat server. It's all locally on the network. In fact, after you set it up, you can take the internet and restrict internet to it and just have it work on the network. If you do want to go in and change something, you'll need network access, but you don't need the internet to access it. So that's basically hubs. As far as what we're going to do, we're going to talk about devices in the upcoming videos, light bulbs and switches and motion detectors and door open close detectors, things like that. I'll actually go into the Hubitat dashboard for you so you can see what it's all about, how to set up devices inside of there. I might do some with SmartThings and I might do some with Wink. I still have my Wink hub. I don't know where I have it at the moment. So maybe we'll do some Wink stuff. Wink has changed a lot since I've used it, but we'll definitely do some Hubitat stuff. I think Hubitat's really cool. The other thing that you can do if you're really courageous is you can get one of these, a Raspberry Pi, and you can actually install some software on the Raspberry Pi and use that as your smart home hub. Just remember that if you do that, there is no Zigbee or Z-Wave functionality in this. So you will need something like I showed you earlier, this little Z-Wave stick. Okay? So if you do have Z-Wave and Zigbee devices, this is a more advanced way to go in terms of smart home. It's not the easiest to set up because you have all these external devices and then have to go in and configure it. It's all open source and it's pretty well documented. But it's not where I would start as far as a smart home. You do need to have a little bit of technical knowledge to do that. Hubitat is a little bit better in terms of that. I think it's a lot easier to set up than the Raspberry Pi route. SmartThings and Wink I think is a little bit easier than Hubitat, but Hubitat is a newer platform and they've made some great strides in the short amount of time that they've been around. And the community with Hubitat is phenomenal. The forums and stuff, if you have questions, I get answers within minutes of posting in the forums. So that's about it for today. We'll talk a little bit more about smart home. I'm going to take you on a day in the life of smart home and show you what it's like, when I wake up and then as I go throughout the day, what happens and why it happens and how I've customized it to my life. If you have questions, please feel free to leave comments down below. I'll be happy to answer them. If you like the video, please be sure to give it a thumbs up. And if you like what we're doing here at KMM Tech, please make sure that you subscribe and hit that bell notification so you know when new videos are coming out. And that's it for today, guys. I'll talk to you soon. I hope you have a great day. Bye-bye.